Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Chidi. So in this segment of my presentations of videos in this channel, I have decided to read the content of my diaries in order to kind of give my viewers the privilege of knowing or understanding things that has happened in my past, which still resonate in what is going on in my life today. And yes, so in my last video, I spoke about how I was detained by the police in Lagos, trying to defend and fight for my family. So that was at the time that my mom was ill, and some things happened which really somebody tried to get me provoked, and I decided to urge my anger on him, and as a result of that, I was arrested by the police. So soon after that, I was ordered to keep a distance from that guy, and which I did. But sadly, soon after what has happened to our mom, this man still came requesting that he wants to get married to my sister. It is something that was very, very sad. And see, today I feel disappointed because as a man of God, as a man that was dedicated and teaching the scriptures, he was supposed to know that, yes, study the family history. Study the history of the family that he wants to get married to, understanding that this our sister, apart from being an underaged who just left college, and she was the only woman we trusted that could attend to our mother's feminine need. In case, since our mother was suffering that kind of a mental sickness, she could decide to get naked at any time. Our sister could be there to be able to take care of that kind of, of that aspect of issues. It's not supposed to be my job anymore. But trying to come now to request for my sister's hand in marriage means that he actually wanted to take the girl away. And that also proves that when the devil wants to fight, he employs everything he has, all ammunitions, all arsenals and everything, and decide to wage a war. So the devil was fighting my family from all directions. So actually, when my sister moved and they began to live with him, I got frustrated. I didn't, when during the section of the introduction of the marriage, I was not paying attention because I was so bitter, I was disappointed, I was angry. So I never knew what was happening. I didn't know what happened. But I never, at any time, I didn't give up on my sister. I was still remembering her in my prayers and wished her well. But then I didn't know what happened. She moved and stayed with that man and abandoned the family. We did the best we could to be able to take care of our mother in her absence. So at this time, the money has begun to arrive. So, like as I said, the guy who was supposed to be my senior brother, the first vehicle he bought was a Peugeot 505, which he used in a couple of times to come and visit our mom at the church where our mom was undergoing some prayer session for healing. So after that, he now bought another car, which he now has in the village. I discovered that that was a Peugeot 404, which was a pickup because he has started a building in the village. So my father's salary was very, very poor, as a result of which my dad started the house some years back, which he could not manage to complete, but he was doing it gradually. So that house was completed under 2 months. The house was ready. So when the house was ready, he decided to move our parents back to the village. Though I was a little bit relieved about my parents moving to the village because I couldn't stand the shame, the humiliation of walking in the street, the same street where people have already seen the nakedness of my mother. So for them to have moved to the village became like a healing therapy for me. So my dad and my mom moved to the village. So back in the village, I saw the Peugeot 404. I saw another Peugeot 404 that is like a saloon. Then I saw a Mercedes Benz car. In fact, four different types of Mercedes Benz I saw. Then I saw a Toyota, I saw Celica, I saw Honda Accord. He was this car craze came, and then he was purchasing all these cars, and then begin to have a fleet of cars, and they've started another building in the village. So things are beginning to turn around. But no matter what has turned around, I still prefer my parents being, in the situations they were managing. Now the money has come, and our mother, in the situation she was, it doesn't make any change as far as I'm concerned, because that money stinks. So my junior brother, the one that I senior directly, who was working at Radio Nigeria before my dad left, he stopped working and went to university. From my calculation, the number of months, I'm not going to say years, he spent working was not enough for him to have saved up money that will now guarantee his university education for 4 years. No, it's not possible. And then he wasn't working and at the same time schooling. He was full time in the campus. So the source of the money came from his university of education was funded by the money from the money ritual that was performed on our mother. So he because no land was sold that belonged to our parents to be able, because I know families who sell lands to be able to continue their university education, who sold their businesses or who sold cars, who sold whatever. Nothing was because we had nothing. So he went to university and graduated, and then as soon as he graduated, he moved to Canada. So, and then moving to Canada was not like, okay, he graduated from university and worked for 2 months or 3 months. He didn't work. The moment he graduated, he moved straight to Canada. And then he didn't go within the territory of Europe, that is a little bit cheap, because flying to Canada, movement to Canada, as far as I know, will never be cheap. So so that was his own share of whatever situation that our mother was. Then the fleet of cars, my senior brother began to purchase lands even in Lagos, and then started another house in Lagos, and then became so he became like um all he was being ordained with one chieftaincy here, one another chieftaincy there. They it is so sad, really. It is so sad. Here we are in this part of the world that such kind of a thing can never, because you cannot verify it. And as far as they are concerned, you have made money. Go to the church, you'll be given a seat in the front of the church, and then you make your contribution. You make your offering package of dirty money, and then you will be clapped. They applaud you, they praise you, and all those kind of a thing. Nobody cares about the source of the money. And somebody could become somebody who has a son who is 15 years old without even writing an application for any company for employment, could become an owner of a private jet and begin to build skyscrapers, and no question asked. Nobody is going to complain. So this is the situation in Nigeria. Yeah. So I begin to make my own inquiries and then my own survey into what has happened to my mother, what has happened to her, how was the money ritual done, because at a certain time I have to pretend like I want to do money. Suppose if I put myself in the shoes of somebody who wants to do money ritual, what is required? What can I do? So there are a lot of findings, things that I discovered, things that I'm going to be sitting down in front of the camera and then begin to talk about them until what has happened to my kid brother. His name is Joseph in Austria. Until what happened to him in 2023, I was not so comfortable sitting in front of the camera or begin to talk publicly about the things that happened in my family some years ago, because I didn't believe that I have to begin to wash my dirty learnings in the public. There are things I'm not supposed to do. I know that those things exist. I mean, it happened, or I'm not going to talk about it. But when my kid brother, the same pattern, the same strategy of what happened to my mother, I begin to see myself that I was stupid. I could have even died trying to fight for my mother instead of being alive today. And the offense still continues. So it is like one would have believed that yes, forgiveness is divine. We should forgive each other. We should bury the hatches in order for us to ignore and delete the bitterness of the past in order for us to move forward. But I cannot be the one that sitting down here continue to wave a white flag for peace, and somebody is all the time warming up to get ready for war. All the time I am preaching peace. The certain things has to be done for me to be able to accomplish the environment where my enemies has laid down their weapons and I have none, and we can then make peace. Because if we go by the example that is set by in the scripture, where God has given the Israelis the opportunity to defend themselves, the Palestinians and the Israelis will always be at conflict, and they probably, because it is written that they will be enemies to each other, and that is where the bitterness of the past will continue to remain. For Israelis and the Palestinians to make peace, the Palestinians should drop their weapons, the Israelis should also drop theirs, and then they can reach a compromise that will now establish a long-lasting peace. Because, like as I'm sitting down here today, I'm still talking, and the stage is still prepared, similar to that of David and Goliath. It still exists between those two regions. It doesn't speak good, because we should forgive each other, bury the hatches, ignore or delete the bitterness of the past, and then unite and then be able to move forward. But I cannot be the one that is seated down here and speaking about peace all the time, where my enemies are not being repentant. Because what has happened to my kid brother in Austria is an indication that the same thing that happened to my mother still exists, and still, the fire of what happened to my mother still burns up to today, and it is very, very sad for me to see that happen right here in this channel. What I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to begin to speak about what are my findings. What did I find? What did I experience? What are the, because during my inquiries, during my own a kind of investigations, there are things that I begin to understand, begin to pick the pieces and pieces of the puzzles, and all of them match to the situation where I find my mother. I find my mom, and at the same time, the money that begin to circulate, the dirty money that begin to circulate in my family, and the people I begin to see them as chiefs, and all this kind of a thing. It makes me sick. I feel like I want to throw up at that kind of money. I would have preferred my family and my mom and my dad in the situation that they were managing. Probably by today, things will have begin to pick up a little bit, okay, and we will still be happy. It is not all about money, for God's sake. But people who think that everything centers on how much money you have money, you have power, and then you can be able to do whatever you want to do. So those are the kind of people that are ready to go to any extent to be able to make money. No matter they don't care whose ox is God, whatever they want to do, they are ready to do it to be able to have, to become rich. So for me, the result of my inquiries and my investigations is what I'm going to be seated down here and begin to speak about it for my viewers who may have doubts about money ritual, how it is done, because I can confidently say that money ritual is real. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is something that is actually practiced. It is a shortcut for those people who want to become wealthy. It exists right now as I speak. Thank you for listening.